In this video, we will implement together a React alert pop-up that you can use in your projects without any additional libraries. And here we need to build two different things. First of all, we need an alert component that will just render the information and color it. And secondly, we need something which will allow us to call this React alert from any place. And it will be done through React context. So first of all, let's start to implement our alert component. This is why here inside source, I will create alert.jsx. And here I want to export our new component, which will be alert. Here on the top, let's create our component, and we won't get here any props because we will get our information from the alert directly from the context. Why that? Because essentially in the whole application, we just want a single place where we show our alerts. And typically this is the top of the screen where user can always see when something happened. But as here we need to test something, I want to create here just temporary alert object, which will have two things. First of all, it will be text, and secondly, the type. Inside type, we can write, for example, danger, and inside text, this is our custom alert. And don't worry, we will remove this object later, this is just for testing. And now here we just need to return a div. And inside this div, we want to render our alert.text. And we somehow need to use this type in order to provide some styling for this div. This is why here what I want to do on the top, I want to create some styling for our component. And first of all, here we will have alert styles, which is just an object with default alert styles. And secondly, we will have all our severity styles. What is severity styles? This is the object with all possible types like danger, success, warning or info. And as I already prepared them, I will simply paste them here to avoid typing. And as you can see here, severity styles is an object with keys like success, info, warning, danger, and we simply set a different color and a different background. And you don't need to retype them, I will link the source code in the description box below. Now let's write styling for our alert. So here first of all we need some padding, 16 pixels. Then border radius 6 pixels, also font size will be 16 pixels, and font weight will be 400. So we successfully created our alert styles and severity styles, but now we need to merge them before we will use them. This is why here I will create full styles property, and this is just an object where I am spreading our styles from the alert and also the certain type. This is why here what I want to do, I want to use severity styles, and here I want to use a certain type. In our case it will be alert.type, which actually means we must provide a correct type like danger, and then we will add this styling to our element. So our full styles are ready, we can just use them here inside our div with the usage of style. Now in order to test that, we must inject it here inside our app. As you can see here, I already prepared two buttons, show danger, show success, but just before I want to render an alert just for testing. And actually not only for testing, this is exactly the top of our application, which means this is the correct place for our alert. Obviously it should not be rendered if we don't have any content, but it is always there and we can trigger it and fill with information later. As you can see in browser, our alert is there and it is correctly styled. We have nice border, we have bigger font size, and we have correct severity with background and color. So our alert component is completely done. Now we must create a logic to call it. This is why here what I want to create here is a context, and I will name it alert.context.jsx. And here we want to use React context. This is why here let's create alert context, and this is function create context, and we don't provide a default value here. Now here I want to export with default our alert context. And before here I want to create a provider also with export. So here export const alert provider, and here we're getting children. Why children? Because children will be exactly our whole application, because we want to give access to our provider to the whole application, and doesn't matter where we need to. So what we want to return here is some markup, and we want to use here our alert context.provider, and we're providing inside some value. I'm closing here our alert provider, and I'm rendering inside the whole application. This is our children. Now what we want to use here is a local state. This is exactly what we will change inside our application. So here I will create our alert and set alert. And this is just a useState hook with null at the beginning. Because at the beginning we don't have any alert, and then if we are calling setAlert function with the object with type and text, then we have an alert and we will show it. This is exactly what we will pass here inside value. First of all, I will return here an array just like useState hook, and here I'm writing alert and as a second parameter setAlert, which actually means we're just exposing useState for the whole application. Now let's try to use it. I want to jump back inside our app.jsx, and here what I want to do, I want to get setAlert function. This is why here I'm destructuring an array. I don't need the first argument, this is why just comma, and here is setAlert. And here I want to call useContext, this is our hook, and we're providing our alert context that we just created. So here we have our setAlert function, and I want to create an additional helper showAlert function. And this will just have some text so we can use it easier. I want to get here a type as an argument, and I want to call here setAlert. This is exactly the function from our context, and I want to provide inside some text. For example, this is a custom alert, and also the type, and the type here is configurable. Why it is configurable? Because here on click we want different type. Here first of all I want to call this showAlert and provide here type danger, and in the second case I want to create success. Now we also need to tune our alert because we don't want to show it always. This is why here we must remove this const alert. We don't need it anymore. We need to get our alert from the context. This is why here will be use context, and we're providing our alert context inside. Now this alert is exactly how we used it. We have inside alert type and alert text. But this will break with the default null. This is why here I want to check this, and if we don't have alert, we don't need to render anything. This is why here return null. The last thing that we need to do before testing, we must wrap the whole application with our alert provider, and we're doing it inside our main JSX. Here we're simply rendering our app, but we must wrap our app with alert provider. In this case, the whole application will have access to our alert system. Let's check if it's working. As you can see in browser, we don't have any errors, and I can click here danger, and voila, we see our custom alert. I am clicking here show success, and now it is green and it is working. But here is the huge problem. This alert must also disappear after some time, and we didn't implement this logic yet. This is why we must jump inside our alert context, and here we want to use useEffect in order to remove it after some time. As we will use here setTimeout, we must store somewhere timer ID. This is why here I will create timer reference and use here useReference hook with initial value null. Now here we can create useEffect, provide inside the function, and as a dependency we can set here alert, which actually means this useEffect will trigger every single time when our alert is changed. What we want to do here, first of all, we want to clear our timeout. This is why here we are checking, okay, do we have timerref.current? If yes, we want to clear it. This is why here clear timeout timerref.current. And after this, we need to create it again. This is why timerref.current equals setTimeout. And inside our setTimeout, we want to remove our alert after, for example, 5 seconds. In order to do that, we can simply call setAlert with null, which actually means this code will remove after 5 seconds our alert. Let's check if it's working. I will reload the page, everything looks fine, I am clicking show danger, and I'm not doing anything. After 5 seconds, as you can see, it is removed. But what is more important, if we will hit here show danger again and again, our alert won't be removed, because every single time we're clearing timeout and we're starting it again, which actually means it will never be less than 5 seconds after we opened it again. And actually, if you're interested to know how to create a local storage hook inside React to make it reusable, make sure to check this video also.